Glorious is the name of God. Glorious is the feeling of God. Your divine presence, Father, Mother, God, is love and peace and joy. It's oneness, unification, joining, dancing, smiling. When we feel these things, we feel your presence, and we're affirming now to feel your presence. We're affirming we are the light of God. Although we seem to have gone into a world of separation and limitation, this is not your reality, God. So our prayer is to know your reality. Our prayer is to know you as you know us, really know us. Our prayer is to know ourselves as you know us and each other as you know them. See through us. Show us how to see, how to feel, how to think, how to believe. We surrender all else to your presence. We become filled with your light and we begin to shine. We begin to become like the sun to the planets, warmth and light, life and illumination. And we affirm and give thanks in advance that this is how this day shall be. This is how our lives will be from now to a whole new level from now on. We become the manifestation of the Holy Spirit. And in so doing, we become the Christ on earth. And so it is.
Please join me in reading our mission statement, which you will find on the seat backs in front of you. And together we say, the Global Center for Christ Consciousness is a spiritual center for students and masters on the spiritual path. We are dedicated to awakening the inner Christ and to creating a world of love, peace, joy, and abundance. And now for our sacred reading for today.
From White Eagle. God, the great white spirit, Father, Mother of all life, has so created you in your bodies, the physical and the higher ones, in a way that in due course gives you the power to communicate with those you love in our world, the world of spirit and light, your true home. Each one of you possesses the material to construct their own bridge between your physical world and the dimensions of the higher ethers. We have crossed the bridge that connects our two worlds before you and are now trying to teach you how to join us in full consciousness. And so it is.
Good morning, everyone. What would you like to talk about today?
Transitional housing.
Okay, anyone else? True freedom, yes?
Cellular intelligence. Time. The global center for Christ consciousness.
Spiritual ego.
Yeah, contradiction of terms in a sense. Spiritual ego. The ego would be anything that isn't spirit. So, very good, thank you. The last few weeks, a couple of weeks, we talked about the world is a mirror. The whole universe is a mirror. So in God, we know, not intellectual, there's a knowing that all is love, all is light, all is God, all is peace. There's just an absolute knowing. See, that's different than believing, because believing is a word that would imply that you could believe or not believe. Knowing is, there's no option. It's just the knowing of God. And that's how God's mind works. There's a knowing. And thank God, because we can act all screwed up and twisted as human beings, and God just keeps saying, well, I know who you really are. God, I'm mad at them. Fix them. Well, you don't know them as I know them. They'll sort it out over time. And so there's a knowing, and that knowingness is an assurance and an insurance, but it's a knowing that everybody is part of me, God, and I am only love. Yeah, but some people don't act like that. That's because they forgot who they are. They don't know any longer. Forgive them, they know not who they are, right? So God says, I know, and Jesus is saying people that act up rudely don't know. Right? So it gets kind of interesting. But this universe then doesn't become heaven, which is a place of knowing. It becomes a mirror of our latest beliefs, our most prevalent beliefs. Not a knowing, but our most ongoing belief systems. Our job is to learn to say, let thy will be done. Like there's no separation between God's will and mine. So now I begin to know what God knows, because I'm not choosing anything else. I'm choosing knowing instead of believing. I'm choosing truth instead of opinions. And I just feel these micro adjustments happening in me. An adjustment to my thinking, adjustment to my relationships, adjustments to my body, this and that and the other. All these recalibrations are taking place because the mother came into the universe to say, when you arrive, I'll be waiting for you. We arrive and she says, I stand here as your mirror. Mirror of what? The astrology you came in with. The karma with certain individuals. All of this is her mirroring to us. And she's mirroring for us, things we need to learn. But she also mirrors the things we have learned. In old traditions, we think of God as something that does something to us. Oh, I was naughty, God did this. Or when somebody reports in some cultures, this went wrong in my life, oh, God must have been punishing you. God takes the rap around all this stuff. And really, the mother's just saying, how could somebody be doing wrong to you? It's a perfect mirror. One meaning to Old Testament telling us, and New Testament, every hair is numbered. A bird can't even fall from the sky without God knowing. And it doesn't mean the ultimate God obsessing on such things, the human things. I'm saying that everything is perfectly numerical, perfectly geometric. There's a sound and vibration to everything. And all of that, as complex as it seems, it's actually perfect. For example, experiments were done 100 years ago where an individual or individuals are setting a lab. They take plates of glass, they put some fine powder on it, and they play the edge of the glass with a violin bow. And the powder all dances into a geometry. Change the note, and it dances into a different geometry. The powder isn't good or bad. It's like looking at you go, what? We're just going with the vibration. I don't like the form I'm seeing. Play a different tune, right? And something different instead of, you play that and it's all discordant. And you say, that's my life. Play a different note. Now, if I play only a fraction of a note for only a fraction of a second, the plate doesn't have time to change the image, does it? And that's why you and I, we pray, we do a little healing work, and then we're like, what, I don't understand. My life didn't completely change overnight. I did an affirmation for the first time ever, and it changed everything. I thought I'd wake up, my soulmate will be knocking at the door saying, hi, you don't know me, but I'm a stalker, So it's like you want better or really, really, how long do you play the right note? Are you consistent in your affirmations? Are you consistent with your beliefs so that they become knowing? There is no other option. There have been warriors that went in and said, there's no other option because they're playing a note and they're not deviating. There are people that play notes of prosperity, and it's kind of cool. beauty, youth, vitality, nature, whatever your things that you love, whatever you're most playing. Now, some of us would say, well, I only play good notes. You only know of the conscious notes you play. You could be playing, on your conscious mind, and inside it's like, oh my God, is what you're playing. It's like just some really heavy duty stuff. Unhealed wounds are playing behind the scenes. And yes, you dress it up on the outside, but there's some yucky stuff on the inside. These things are going to take time, but they're all mirrors. Everything is a mirror. The hot guy, girl, your doctor, your massage therapist, the guy reading your meter, your tax man, your accountant, your server at the restaurant, everyone and everything, nature, your dog, your cat, your goldfish. It's all a mirror. It's all reflecting. How am I doing in my relationship with God and self? And what we try to do is force changes on the outside so that we think our relationship with ourselves or with others is better. In other words, if I have a void, an emptiness inside, I try to have a relationship with others to compensate. I don't feel so bad when you're in my life. That's an addiction. I don't feel so bad when I get a raise at work. And that means you're saying, I don't know who I am, what I am. I have doubts, but as long as I can orchestrate the right notes outside, I'll be fine. Instead of a knowingness that if God is with me, what could be against me? I'm dancing in the light of God, and I'm letting that fill my being. Now my dance with others is, hi, nice to see you. If we dance, I'm bringing the light of God, and you might be as well. When you bring the light like I'm bringing the light, we have a really gifting, easy relationship. If I'm dancing in the light and you don't bring the light, it's not over with. I'm just going to keep dancing in the light. Would you like to join me? Now you're learning, and it's great because it mirrors me also, parts of me that are going to a new level. When you don't do it and I don't do it, it's hell. It's people that are just venting. People that are, they're empty inside. Dog eat dog world, survival of the fittest. And unfortunately, most of the world lives that way, even though it doesn't look violent all the time. Even if it's just a little needy, it's still emptiness meets emptiness. So everything is this mirror process. And whether it's the lightest light, angels came to me last night, which doesn't make you a saint. But the right note was played somehow, somewhere. The window opened. That's always there. They're always there. Angels and other dimensions, they're always there. It's just something somehow happened where a window opened. And it could have been because you've been meditating a lot. And it could be that you're absolutely hopeless. And your mother's on the other side going, give them a vision or something. They need something. And, please, fine. Someone praying on your behalf might be it. Don't get caught up in, I saw an angel, so I'm better than other people. But just the realization that I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. When you see an angel, I'm so grateful. When you see a demon, I'm so grateful. Why would I be grateful that I'm seeing a demon? Well, because they're showing you something. Where am I off? Sometimes it's hanging out in bars a little too much. Well, is Michael judging bars? No, but there's a frequency. When people are out of their minds, when you're altered on any kind of a drug, any kind of a drink, any kind of a stimulant, sedative, etc., you're not yourself. And now you're sort of split. There's fragmentation going on. And there are entities that go, oh, look, a fragmented person. I'd like a piece of that. And now you have these things clinging, attachments, and so on. They're not to be seen as bad, and your experiences with them aren't to be judged as bad, but it's a lesson. So I need to recognize, it's where that phrase comes from, alcohol called spirits. Because in places like this, it was all too common that you're susceptible to being possessed by spirits because you're liquored up. Now, that doesn't mean you had dinner last night like, oh my God, I better go home and do an exorcism because I had red wine with my pasta last night. I wouldn't be paranoid about it. But it's true that on earth, whether they're spirit beings or human beings, there are some not so kind individuals. When someone sees that you dropped a $100 bill, they pick it up, they have no intention of giving it back. That's not a kind person, but it's still, why am I involved? Why did I drop a $100 bill? Why am I out the money? Why did they not give it back? I could still look at a lesson it has for me. That's the first $100 bill I ever had. It meant everything. It meant my prosperity levels were great. Now I don't have prosperity. Someone took it from me. See, there's lessons there. It doesn't come from that green piece of paper, and I heal and I forgive and so on, unattached to it. So there could be a lesson there. I dropped $100, somebody took it. Well, the same thing happens in the spirit realm. When you drop your integrity level, when you bargain your body, when you bargain your mind, on any level, when you become hateful, resentful, anger throws you off center. And when you're off center, things that are thriving off of off-centered people can enter your life more. And we're not just talking about beings, I'm talking about people too. When you're off, you attract unhealthy people. The more centered you are, the healthier, the more likely healthy your life is. But it's not guaranteed. Jesus still walked into rooms where there were demonic people. It happens. It's here. It's around us. Stuff happens. How you handle it is the thing. I remember there was an example of in one of those estate sales that some of us volunteer at. There was a case where a really messed up individual had lived there, and they were really messed up. I mean, and in a very dark place. And some of the people that worked there saw it, could feel, could experience that this was happening, that someone was a very dark entity there. And the movers that came in to help clean the place after the sale was over, those poor guys knew nothing, and yet they experienced this entity. I mean, dramatically. I won't give you the stories, but dramatically experienced the entity. So I drove out there when the sale was over and the guys were done cleaning and everything was done. And, I went out there and, talked to this entity and did a blessing. I didn't approach it with, how dare you? It's not how you love people. And whether it's even the most dark, hateful, demonic being, Jesus doesn't hate demons when he casts demons out of people. He loves the hell out of the person. He knows, however, that the demons are not interested in having a conversation. They didn't go, well, now that you've shown up, could you educate us and turn us into light? They became more progressively angry. Why? Because the mirror. You're showing us our evil. How dare you? So if you're going to be an exorcist or someone that clears homes and so forth, understand that you are hated by them for a reason. So if you don't have your own center intact, you could be susceptible to that stuff. And, this is true all the way around. We're not having to talk about just extremes of beings. We're talking about consciousness. You hang around people that keep ripping down your consciousness, it wears on you, and you become tired, and you become potentially fatigued. And then you start to go into hopelessness and despair, and then depression. And now you're clinically depressed, and now you're taking medication, and you feel terrible about having to take medication, and you just kept descending all this way. When you're plugged into God, that's not usually the feeling you're going to have. But this is why people have to medicate. They don't even know this is happening, but they unconsciously medicate. They don't even realize that it's being worn down by the world that needs a stimulant. Being worn down the world makes them want to sedate themselves so they don't see it and feel it so often. I've never done I've never done drugs, hard drugs. I've never been drunk. I've never done it. I never smoked, never even had coffee. Pretty clean dude. But you know what? Sometimes I think I should. That's why I'm not completely Christed. That's how I know. Because some days I'm like, give me something, like bloody hell. There are days, honestly, when I'm thinking, and I don't obsess on it. I don't start chewing. Just some days I'm like, wait a minute. This is a lot. Is there some way, some way to lift me? And the only healthy thing you can do is God saying to you, yes, me. No, I'm just wondering, is there an addiction I can dabble in? Maybe because I'm spiritual, you could throw me addiction light. A light version. Like give me a light beer I'll get addicted to instead of regular beer. Or, red wine at dinner instead of a hard liquor or whatever. None of these things taste good to me. I mean, they just don't. I can't even try to do these things. But there are those thoughts of like, wow, and God tells all of us, try me as an addiction. But it's not the same kind of addiction, because the real, of course, genesis of addiction and the definition is a negative, so to speak. But the fact that you've ever dabbled in any kind of an addiction, it doesn't make you bad, it makes you human. You never did addiction just to be a jerk. You could only have done it because you're tired, because you don't know what else to do to be sane. So you do something insane because you tried sane and it doesn't work in an insane world. So you reach hopelessness, you reach, honestly. So people with addictions, man, be patient. Be compassionate. You have yours as well. No, I don't. You do. No, I don't have any addiction. Did you eat twice this week? It's an addiction. Did you drink water? Well, we need water. Yeah, that's what the alcoholic says about drink. See, it's all just judgment. The best thing is, I don't know. Not, Lord, help my children to become clean and sober like me. Careful what you ask for. Because then the Holy Spirit's going to have to go, and so it is. And it shows you a mirror of you not being as healthy as you think you are. You might be addicted to judging your addicted children. You see? Judgment is an addiction. But something, and I'm not saying that the things you do are sinful and wrong. That's an old way of looking at things. This is all about vibration. This is my consciousness. That's all I know. It's my consciousness. Discordant note, oops, I wonder what that was about. If ever you've dabbled a lot with crystal bowls, you can go and you can take the 7 primary notes, the bowls, chakras, and you can do an experiment. Boom, really low in the root chakra, then up the scale. And all of a sudden you might get to one where it's like, the bowl shatters. Guess what that is? You're messed up somewhere and you just found out where. All these are like, ooh. You get to throat chakra and it's like, shatter, and basically it's like demons come crawling out of that bowl. And this is you. This is the book of Revelation. And then the 5th trumpet blasted and I saw horrible creatures coming out of the abyss. That's my stuff. That's my anger, my hatred, my resentments, my unhealed wounds. That's all it is. The book of Revelation is a mirror of us looking at ourselves. And it's true that there's this Antichrist that comes crawling out trying to destroy the world. The Antichrist is the ego in me that doesn't want me to find the Christ in me. It's anti-Christ. So it's trying to keep me from waking up. So naturally, the Antichrist is all about distraction. And the Antichrist is going to cause this to happen and the world to be destroyed. You know what that world is that's going to be destroyed? Oh, it's terrible. No, it isn't. It's your former life. 1/3 of the world was burned. 1/3 of the world was flooded. Good. Good. No, I want it all back intact. That's the ego, not God talking. Your marriage that ended, your children that, disowned you, your family that doesn't want to be anything to do with you, your place that you lived once upon a time, these things that ended, you might as well expect that when you're trying to awaken the Christ. That's when you want to change your life, read the book of Revelation and that's where you're going. Instead of, and 1/3 of the world was burned, what it means is, and 1/3 of your friends will burn you. And 1/3 of this will happen. And you'll go through, and then there'll be great famine, which means you can't feed off of the old garbage you used to feed off of. Yes, it's tragic in a way to us as humans. It's tragic. The world's going to change, and I'm scared. I know you're scared. But it tells you in there, who is worthy to open the seals? The Lamb, the Christ. Trust in God and let these things fall away. Try fasting. You know, some of you can, I fasted for 48 hours. Good job. A week, whatever. I'm not telling you how to fast or what to fast on. I'm just saying, it's a funny thing when you start fasting. That hunger pang. And is that God going, I need food? No. It's the ego, and it's not food, and it's not the body, stomach that's growling. It's my old self wants to be fed garbage. Words, abuses, codependence. And you think, oh, well, nobody would want that. That's what people live off of. Thrive. They think they thrive. They're not really thriving at all, but that's what they seem to thrive on. Try fasting. Fasting means whatever brought this about, I'm putting on the altar and abstaining. I choose not to be sexual until I can bring God into this. I choose not to marry again until I know I can bring God into this. I choose not to eat the old way I used to eat. I don't want to parent the old way. I don't want to do anything the way I once did. That's what fasting means. I'm abstaining from the old ways. And so there's going to be the sounds and the hunger and growling and whatever in the stomach. And it's symbolic. And you just smile. Oh, that. Just go, yeah, I know. I don't care. You know, put your hand on your stomach, and you can do a simple ritual when you fast, even if you're only fasting for an hour. It's a funny thing. As soon as you put it on the table to fast, it's instantly, your mind starts going, yeah, but wait, how about we do something else? Well, let's start in an hour. You know, and you're like, eating everything in the refrigerator. Okay, I'm ready to fast. That's cheating. That's cheating. You know, come on. But in that moment when you I am now, I get it. Oh my God, the voice of God is speaking to me, and I'm surrendering all that I am to you, Lord, and I'm ready to fast, and I'm going to fast for 24 hours. You know, like 10 minutes later, it's like, oh, is that a Butterfinger? You know, there's going to be something. Well, I didn't know there was going to be. It wasn't my fault. My friends came over with a pizza. I mean, come on. You know, it's not my fault. You know, listen, you want Jesus, not Jesus. You know, you need God. So you can do a simple ritual. Just put your hands on the place that's aching, your groin, your heart, your stomach, your head, your ears, you know. Just put your hands there and say, I hear you. Just like Jesus in the desert, listening to that voice tempting him to be small, be a human, a limited mortal being. Just see it and own it. I hear you. I'm not running or denying it. I'm not minimizing it. I'm just, you. That's funny, hunger. You would imply that I have a stomach. If I have a stomach, I am a stomach. You're implying that I have a body. If I have a body, I am a body. But you're lying to me. You're telling me that if only I had food, everything would be okay. Which is kind of funny because the food will only sit in there for a little while and then it'll come back. So you're telling me I'll feel better, but this is not true. Only the Word of God, only the presence of God, only the consciousness of God ever has the possibility of filling me. Food can't. I mean, as soon as it's entered, it's digesting to be released. So what kind of experience is that? So we're being called to change everything in our being, mind, body, and soul. I've said this like last week too. When you see someone, they're a mirror of yourself. When someone says, I just fell so deeply in love with somebody, there is nobody else. Once you know that, you can't fall as far. You know, we can rise in love instead of fall in love. And it's really tricky because I've known people in my life where they want to go into categories of life and living, friends, family members, whatever, that they want you to go to a certain level. But when you know these kinds of things, isn't it harder to drop to that level? I mean, you just kind of go, well, no, not interested. I hope that most or all of you would say that if a person from 30 years ago said, hey, let's imbibe in some of the old things we used to do for addictions, I would hope that you'd be like, instead of like, oh no, 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 I can't, which is, it'd be sad, but I hope you hang in there. But I hope and pray and affirm you will get to the point where you don't have to fight it. It's just not even an option because of who I am. It's a different I am from years ago. I am empty before made me susceptible to that temptation. But it's different now. I feel different now. And, I've seen people try to sort of, go this way, go pull, friends this way, that way, family members this way, that way. Even at your disapproval, no thank you. Oh, well, you're not one of us. Okay. Family members, oh, my dad's threat used to be, I'm going to go and erase your name from the Bible. I'm like, do you want me to get the pencil with the eraser for you? Like, it didn't matter, which only made him angrier. But what's the worst thing that can happen when you don't play the game of people? And you should ask yourself what the worst thing might be. Because if you don't ask, the ego is going to be taunting you with that question without an answer. Yeah, but you know what could happen? And it doesn't answer. Because it would say, what could happen? You could become free. It doesn't tell you that. What could happen? Whatever it is, it's bad. And then move on to, what else could happen? And that's the rampage, craziness of the ego. What could happen? No, good question, ego. Let me sit with that for a minute. No. I want you to move on to another question. No. Thank you for asking that. Worst thing that could happen. Dysfunctional people would disown me. I'm good with that. See, it's interesting. The ego likes asking questions that don't get answered so that everybody's left in limbo, which is on the planet is known as the world of politics. No real answers, just something that seems okay for some, not okay for others, and everybody will just argue about it. And whatever ends up happening, somebody's unhappy about it. It's like, you got to be kidding. Don't you want to be happy? And it's interesting. And if you have a household, you've got to stand in the light. This is what we're doing here. Well, then I'll just move out. Okay. Well, then you don't love me. I didn't say that. I said, here's how we're doing things in our house. Whether the house is your business, your spiritual center, your home, your car, whatever the case may be. Know who you are, and then you put that out there. And I don't mean you even have to speak it out. When you know who you are, it becomes like any other sound, it becomes a thing. I know what sound I'm playing, now here it comes. I know who I am, now here it comes. So what you see in my home becomes a mirror of me. It should be a very organic imagery. If I say I'm a person that loves creativity, you should sense that in me, mind, body, soul, wardrobe, everything. It wouldn't make sense to say you're one thing, but your life depicts another. And if it is, you should stop and look at it, because that's called conflicted. Divided, we fall. United, we stand. So when I get the parts of me to kind of come together, nice. When I see other things happening, things that, whether it's entity related or friendship related or something might be incongruent. Maybe I wasn't clear that I don't do that, I do this. I'm not that, I'm this. Starting with yourself. And then you can talk to others about it too. Hey, listen, we're band members. We're in the same band. And you guys are talking about doing this kind of music. I thought you understood I was more like this. They might say, let's talk. How about a little of this and a little of that? Maybe that'll work. Maybe it's you guys get someone else and go that way. Or maybe it's I'm going to get someone else and go this way. But what people don't do is they don't communicate. They don't talk this through. It's being mirrored to them by spirit that they're conflicted inside. And now the band breaks up hating each other. But they didn't realize, like John Lennon said about the Beatles once, he said, we should have just taken a break. We didn't have to do what we did. And a lot of other bands I've heard say that, all kinds of bands. And we could have just taken a break. See, but even a break would have helped. But that's not the spiritual answer. That's just a temporary answer, but it's helpful. So we all need to take an assessment of who we are and what we're about. What vibes do we put out? If things in our lives are looking negative and conflicted, that's where I must be because it's being mirrored. Now, I'm not making you wrong and bad, so don't get it all like, oh my God, it's my fault. I'm not talking about fault. Just little things get kind of mirrored out there, little snags. You could be 99% enlightened. Just that 1% is enough to still create some weird things. It doesn't mean the weirdness is proportionate to how weird you are, but it'll be magnified so you can see it. Yeah, so to me, it becomes a very organic process. And this world, it's like, God, it's mirroring things, but it does such extremes. Relationships, there's no hope for relationships. Or everybody has to have one. That's the ultimate thing. You got to get married, and then you're a complete person if you've had children. If you don't have children, you're an incomplete woman. Those are all just lies. And this world has these extremes telling you, do this, and don't do that. And either way, if you do this, you're going to wish you had tried that. And if you do this, you'll wonder what that would have been like. Never at peace. The world does not encourage peace because the world has been hijacked by the ego. The part of us that doesn't want to know God. It's not, who did that? Republicans, Democrats, men. Oh, you know how women are. All that is me not looking here. Instead, we can stop and go, turn on the news if you want. Watch ridiculous news and news shows and politics. And I wouldn't if I were you. But if I did, be able to go, aren't I crazy? Look at how we are. Look how conflicted we are. Look how scared we are. You can say we because it's true. You're in it with us and we're in it with you. But there's another way to go. There is an answer, and it's the peace of God. And everything is changing in this world, and people say they want that change, but it's far scarier than people imagine. I know that you've sometimes partnered with people that don't feel quite right, and you've done things with people. You sold your body out. You bargained yourself in a business arrangement that wasn't the best, and you might have lost money. There's all kinds of things that are kind of screwy that we could do. It's an interesting thing because we then judge those people, but they're mirroring things to us. That's all. They're mirroring to us our weaknesses. They're mirroring, like I said, things that we need to learn. So the Holy Spirit will mirror what you need to see, but it'll also help you see what you need to learn. It's consistent. Let me show you what you have learned. Let me show you what you haven't learned. Here's what you need to learn. And guess what? Look. And we're like, guess what, man? I read this one book and I manifested a raise at work. And you're all prideful about how you did this. And that's fine. But it's not. It's a neutral, objective process. The ultimate law of the universe. The law of mirroring. And so the mother's just going, look, you've raised your consciousness. If you make it about the book or the ritual, it's a false idol. This is you becoming more of who you really are. So I'm grateful because the mother's saying, look, honey, you woke up a little more in this category. If you say, no, the book did it, now the Holy Spirit will have to catch the book on fire, because you left it too close to the fireplace and help you get rid of the false idols. That's a tough way to learn. It's kind of a hard way to learn. I could learn the easy way. Much, much better. So we try addictions. We try all kinds of things. Everything's a mirror. Parenthood, nature, like I said, sexuality, all these things are mirrors of me. How am I doing? And you can just say, not, they did this, stop. Just, I'm conflicted. I want to have a relationship, but they tend to not go well. Well, ask questions. How do they not go well? Well, it's like after the first week, they abandon me. Let's look at that. Let's heal that. Let's change the beliefs and the triggers behind that and the issues, wounds behind it. Then all of a sudden you make it to 2 weeks and 3 weeks and 4 weeks and so on. And it can only happen as I grow. Well, I would grow faster if only people were more reliable. They're a mirror. it's actually, you're having a schizophrenic experience. There are no other people, really. They're actually just holograms of you. That's all it is. But when I say that, some people get really weird and upset about it. So they're, oh, Michael, I can't believe you said that. Well, whatever. So let's go back to codependent living. What do you want? So the Holy Spirit, something I said to somebody recently, give me your weaknesses and I will give you my strength. And that sounds like almost too sublime or too foreign. That God would say, give me your weaknesses and I'll give you my strength. No, you must be up to something, Lord. No person says, give me your bills and I'm going to give you cash for every bill you hand me, for every issue you have. If you do some tracking and find any wounds inside about limiting beliefs and financial issues, the more you come up, I'm going to give you $1,000 for every issue you come up with. See, that sounds like too good to be true. And that's what happens with us and God. Give me your weaknesses and I'll give you my strength. No. There's got to be a catch. Why? Because we have completely forgotten what love really looks like. And love can do that. Give me your weaknesses, I'll give you my strength. It's such a gorgeous concept. Give me your fears. Yeah, but if I give you yucky stuff, why would you give me good stuff? And God's not some ridiculous bargaining bookie or something here. God's saying, because when you give me your weaknesses, it's not like we're actually exchanging items. That's what it sounds like. Give me your weaknesses. I give you. You give me something, I give you something. No, what he's saying is, God's saying to us is, when you give me your weaknesses, you're giving me your blocks to being God, to being one with me. So you're giving up the stuff that weighs you down. So it looks like I'll reward you with, I'll give you my strength, but you're actually finding your strength. This doesn't discount God's role in this, but I'm just saying, the more we get out of the way, the more what was always there starts to become visible. There's all kinds of things that we do, whether you drink or sex or whatever, people shame these things. And there's interesting pieces about this mirroring. So Jesus brings up, and other parts of the Bible bring up, whatever you do, do not engage with a prostitute. Okay? And if you do, keep it a secret. Because even the high priests were always engaging with prostitutes. They were. I mean, it wasn't just televangelists that nowadays, this goes way back. This goes way back. This goes way back. You know what would have been kind of interesting? If they would have said, you know what? These are my lovers. These are my muses. These are my confidants, and take the shame out of it. And it would have been seen differently. When Alexander the Great, one of the times that he came back home after, touring and all, it sounds like a rock show, after touring, one of the amazing things he did was his soldiers, they were with concubines and so forth, which were always treated like lesser beings. And Alexander came back and said, all of those women you men slept with are now going to be called your wives, and their children are going to be valued people. They're all going to be given money and given respect. And the men were like, what? Yes. He didn't want to keep that as a shamed thing. Show some respect. You didn't mind these people in your lives for an hour when you're all drunk, but you've had children with them. Take care of them. Now, I mean, there's pros and cons to all these conversations, but part of what I'm saying, in the Bible, it's telling you, stay away from prostitutes. Here's what he's saying. If you join your body with the body of a prostitute, you become one. I'm sorry, I thought you were going to say something degrading. What's so wrong about being one? Here's what he's trying to say. If a person sees themselves as a lowly prostitute and you join with them, you drop to their level. What's needed is for them not to be a prostitute. No. What's needed is for them to not see themselves as lesser than anyone else. So why don't you take the hand of the prostitute like Jesus did and say, stand, eye to eye, you're okay. See, Why didn't he, if you think the Bible told you to judge prostitutes, then why didn't he do it? Instead, he tells them, who's here to judge you? Nobody, not me either. That's what we need to do. There are homeless people tempting you to think that they're homeless people. I'm not saying they are or they're not. What I'm saying is when you see a prostitute, when you see a homeless person, when you see a warrior, when you see a victim, a victimizer, I'm telling you, this is a hologram. And all of these beings are part of your mind saying, hi, I'm going to project out here as a belief of yours so you can decide. Are you going to enforce it as a judgment or release it as a forgiveness? Boo! You startled me. You're a jerk. And so it is. And now another one. Boo! Oh, what a jerk. And so it is. Now you have a pattern of people that treat you like, they're jerks. But who's the one with the pattern? You who reacted to them saying, you're a jerk. Why are we jerks? Because you startled us. Okay. That had to have been somewhere in here, and it was a mirror coming to me. My job is to say, oh my God, I was startled, but wait. I'm the one who was startled. I'm the one who reacted, angry, sad, just dispirited or whatever. And I can see it's part of a pattern. And I release the pattern. Now, if a person, an entity, your children, your parents, a lover, a stranger, approaches you with boo, there's nothing there, which is from Scripture, and the prince of this world comes and finds nothing in me. I'm different. It's just, I don't know, it's just like, wow, I'm looking. Where's this lack and fear? And it's just not there. And I emphasize this as being about the hologram, but remember, the ultimate high of the hologram, the ultimate understanding, the highest and the lowest of the hologram is really the same. Your divine mother is taking, you think it's something Jesus died on the cross. Guess what? Your mother's been crucified for millions of years by taking on your limiting belief systems. She is the mother, the mother of matter. And she is the energy behind. She's the atomic waves that become atomic particles, that become molecules, atoms and molecules, that become matter to show you your beliefs. Even science says now that we think atoms and such are only freezing into solid things when there's an observer. They can tell that when someone's observing some space, the space starts to solidify, becomes atomic particles instead of just waves of being. Just waves of hanging out. And all of a sudden you show up and it starts to, and so do your animals, and so do your plants, react to your beliefs. It's been proven that people approaching plants with violent intentions, and they put these sensitive equipment items on these plants, the plants become scared. See? You can't get away from yourself. You bring needy into a room without even knowing you're needy. And there's someone, at the bar, and they can tell you walked in. Someone needy. Now, consciously, maybe not, although sometimes, yeah, they look needy, but they're predators, but that's not nice. But what's in you that they went, wait, what just happened? Why are the plants scared of you? Why are animals afraid? Why do birds not come up to people so easily? Not because you were going to kill them, because they sense fear and or aggression, one or the other or both, and they're not wanting to be part of that. Birds are very sensitive. I mean, they startle like this, right? Wow, boom, 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 boom. And so when they sense anything, how come St. Francis is standing there in imagery of animals and on his shoulders, and there's stories of Jesus doing this? Why? Because the animals recognize love. There's no fear or harm there. So they're like, okay, this is safe. So there's frequencies, and we put these frequencies out there, and in a sense, it's tragic that we don't only feel love and safety with each other. Because somebody's got an agenda, somebody's got a history, unhealed wounds, frequencies. Some people don't like you because they sense your frequency. Your frequency might be, you're male, just that. Oh, man. Their judgment of that already puts out such a sad frequency. That's why I've said sometimes we do a chant here where the men are repeating one thing and holding space and letting the women enter that space and begin to chant something else, right? That's an amazing symbolism. We're safe. We're not having to think about agendas and whatever else, defenses. So moving further with this concept of origins. You know, when we came to this planet, we came, yes, manifesting from oneness into a state of separation, but still, the state of separation intensified. It got worse and worse. So when we arrived, there's sublime ethereal places, ways that we lived, like the Hyperborean kind of experience in the far north. But then came more manifested, but still ethereal, somewhat, the Lemurian civilization. You know, and God, just such beauty, such a sense of oneness. Even though we have fallen, we were still very heavenly. We kept that with us for now. And as we lived here and incarnated more and more, guess what happened? The ego wounding and wounding and wounding, and it just densified us to where we stand here like dense people with issues. The way to reverse it is plugging into God that we separated from and trusting the love and God in each of us. But we have to be worthy of that trust. So the kitten, you know, come here, baby. You know, an animal would rather die than take food from you. Why? Because you have issues. I mean, think about this. I'd rather die is what the animal's saying. Well, means I'd rather die than come to you. Your job is what? To get mad at it. Well, fine. Then just die. I won't feed you. That's the way some human beings treat other human beings that don't do healing the way they want to do it, like fast enough or whatever it is. You know, you're not doing what I want. Marry me and trust me. Well, I have issues with trust. Oh, fine. Goodbye. Which might be okay for that person to say goodbye. But maybe we can try. Can we agree that I'll put my hand out and when you're ready, you'll take my hand? And if you take it and pull away, that might hurt my feelings, but okay. I'll try again tomorrow and so on. At some point, I'm not wrong to say, you know what? I've been with you for 28 years now, and you still won't hold my hand for more than a second and a half. It seems as though you might need someone else. And that's okay for you to say, no thanks. That's okay. But the other person also has a part. You just had someone for 28 years trying and you wouldn't open up. You might want to look at this. You know, they have their part. So with this Lemurian experience, there was a greater sense of love and oneness and you know, but understand, the concept, the sun rises in the east, is a symbol. It means spirituality was born in the Far East. In those days, they believed in the Divine Mother. We don't talk about the Divine Mother much anymore. We do here, but the average person in the world made the Holy Spirit masculine, right? Minimized the role of the mother, and so on. The Far East, Lemurians, it was a matriarchal concept. And I'm not talking about men versus women, women versus men. I'm talking about the love and the trust, the heart. The Divine Mother has birthed us, which really she's mirroring our birth, but she's birthing us into the world. So here we are in the Far East, Lemuria, and the Lemurians migrated as their continent submerged into the Pacific. They migrated to the places of Nepal and, you know, all throughout Asia and other places, but they migrated there. And they started talking about the Upanishads and the Vedas and the mother behind all this. And they might have called her Shakti and all kinds of other names of goddesses, but they were just aspects of the mother. Very cool, right? As the light that came up in the east went what direction? which means the Middle East. So the light that was feminine in the east came up over the horizon to the Middle East, but now it was time for her to give birth to the Christ. So in the Middle East, we have the Christ being born, which is more of a male person, Jesus. So he's a male. So now people started focusing on making everything God masculine. Instead of saying it began as feminine and now manifested as masculine, nice balance. No, it shifted. Let's let go of that and let's just go here and make that one wrong, which is humans. Now something's happening. What rose in the Middle East as the birth of Jesus in the form of Christ, which is also Jesus embodying the divine mother, is coming to the west. And now it's up to us to birth not just the concepts of the mother, nor the embodiment of the mother as the son. Now we have to birth the same Christ in each of us, not in one person, in each of us and in each other. And in so doing, the feminine of the Far East, the mother that was honored, and the masculine that was birthed as Jesus and more masculine concepts comes together in this time. We're not here just listening to a talk. This is us saying we're part of this trend. We get it. See, it's not some people, are you more Eastern or Western? Oh, stop. Yeah, I can't go there. East is better. Buddha's the Eastern version of Jesus. Just stop talking to me. Learn to embrace. Don't compare. Don't compete. My God's bigger than your God. My God can beat up your God, which is what some of the ancient cultures did. Moses having to fight the Pharaoh's gods and what. It's like, guys, it's just the mother birthing the son, and it becomes me today. And if I don't become that thing, this whole drama that's been taking hundreds of thousands of years to happen is all wasted. This is inevitable. We're going here. It's happening. It's not an accident. This has been my work, my teaching, my counseling. Everything I do has been about this. And I would say the outside is a mirror. So when it was time, and you study whatever you want. I don't care. It's fine. You could be into Buddha, Sasquatch, UFOs. You could be into ascension or descension, whatever you want to be into. But for some reason, you manifested someone in front of you talking about awakening Christ consciousness. So you have to decide, was that a lowering of yourself? And there's something, Sasquatch is much better than Jesus. Then go there. But some of you are going to go, if this is symbolic, this guy's just another hologram. What's he mirroring? If I were you, I'd be going, oh my God. This is God speaking to me. This is my coming together again with the divine mother. That's how I would be looking, because that's how I look at things, is what's the deeper significance? Boom, that's what would happen to me if I were sitting there. I could hear a song. All my life, that's how I was. The song we played before service, Fantasy by Earth, Wind & Fire. And when I sat there as a kid, struggling with being a kid and having screwy parents and all that, that's me conflicted with who I'm going to be. And all of a sudden, lyrics. Every thought is a dream, rushing by in a stream, bringing life to the kingdom of doing. I'm like, thoughts manifest in the world of doing. Yes! Oh, Earth, Wind & Fire, my God, It's like, oh my God. Come to see victory in a land called fantasy. It's like you and me to behold. It's ecstasy. I mean, these words, it made my soul sing. I didn't go, oh, another band. When I see light, I love it. And it's right to devour light because it's in a good way. It's right for you to love it. You don't have to crave it from an empty place, although that's what we do when we're really empty and need to heal. But even when you heal, it's like it's so exciting. God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my, a scene in a movie, oh my God, oh my, these things just always have excited me. And it should. Some people become frightened, food before a starving cat, when it comes to God. We have bad experiences. We have hurts and shames and things from the past. And do you want to stay like that? Try it. Come out a little. Even if you're sitting here and this sounds like you wounded and afraid of God, and wish this guy didn't talk about Jesus or whatever, it's okay. Just say, you know what? This guy's annoying me. However, try that. Just however, I'm open to healing. Because it won't necessarily be me pestering you as your healer. Maybe the Holy Spirit will come to you in your sleep. Maybe it'll be in the form of a female, might be safer for you, whatever. Just stay, at least you're open. So everything is changing. Everything, it's like we're getting back to this concept of trusting the Divine Mother. And we should. But it's funny how the birthing of a male, Jesus, became a masculine concept and a masculine, several forms of masculine religion. But it didn't all go that way. Some in the middle and Europe didn't lose the love for the mother. Some maintained it. Here, today, in the West, Catholics still love Mother Mary. Catholics still talk about the Holy Ghost. Not everybody lost it completely, but they have misinterpreted it. They have minimized it, and that's got to change. So you and I are here, and we're mirroring something, and you're mirroring something to me. I can look at you and go, this is so cool. Guess what? Yes, Michael. Guess what, Michael? Yes, Michael. Because it's a hologram. No sense in talking to you. Guess what, Michael? There's a bunch of people that are on the same wavelength. They get it. But there are no other people. So you're me getting it. You're me dancing with the mother. You're me dancing with the Father. You're me dancing with the Christ. Oh, how glorious. This is so cool. And if one of you sits there and holds up a sign and you're annoying us, all you are is one little neuron in my brain that's filled with light, and you're just one little neuron of darkness and hatred. I can hate you for it, but you know what happens then? Then that little dark neuron starts, putting blankets of darkness over other neurons, and it starts a cancerous belief system. Instead, the person, the hater, yeah, okay, I see. This is a pattern. This is Adam and Eve that eat from the apple and screw up Eden. This is Cain who kills Abel. This is an ongoing thing with human beings. Someone's there screwing it up. And I see you. If I judge you, hate you, react to you, run from you, we perpetuate this for another generation. If I say, oh, I got it. I'm so sorry. You must be afraid. Because that hateful, rude little thing is really someone needs to convince me that there really is love. And when you say, I love you, it says, you're kidding me. You're going to present me, really? You're not going to say it and then abandon me, hate me, betray me? No, I'm right here. Consistent, waiting for the cat to accept the food, and then you have a healing. Something turns around, consciousness shifts. It's just, it's real forgiveness. And that's part of what we talk about here, is the application of true forgiveness is how one of the primary, if not the most important primary piece of manifesting the mother. It's not about how you dress, and it's not about saying the mother, the mother, the mother. I went up and communed with the mother today. If you're not forgiving, then you're actually betraying the mother in yourself. You're betraying the divine mother aspect of God in yourself. So don't just say it. We become these things. I become the presence of love wherever I am. Show me how to love, and show me how to bring this light. A wounded animal. You see, we used to shame, stay away from heathens, stay away from pagans. Our race must not marry into their races. See, that's all separation. Stay away, do not touch prostitutes. That's not what the Bible told you. What it was saying is if someone believes themselves to be low and you join with them, you joined. Why? Because you agreed with them. Do you understand what I just said? You agreed with their lowly beliefs. The Samaritan woman that says to Jesus, you can't give me water. I can't give you water. You can't touch me. I'm a Samaritan. And Jesus is like, what the hell is that? You know, he didn't really say that, but like, what do you mean? I'm lowly. Your race doesn't touch us. It can't be near us. The Romans that were telling Jesus, we know you're not allowed to talk to us. Jesus didn't accept it. I refuse. Come with me. Come with me. Prostitutes, let's walk down the street together. You need to be shown, I love you. Not, I crave you, I want to use you. It's, I love you. And then walking with, there were some of the Pharisees that were opening their minds. Jesus was happy to talk to them. But they still had their belief systems. We would love to talk to you. But of course, we can't have prostitutes. Why? Because you know them. You know, that's why. You're going to be like, hey, Missy, good to see you again. You know, and it doesn't look good. Oh, did you see Barbie in the corner? You know, yeah. You know, I understand, but do what you're doing. Laugh at it. It's kind of silly. But it goes further. When someone walks in front of you with handicaps, they too are saying, do you believe this? What? That I'm handicapped? Well, yes, apparently the doctor said you are, so I agree. And so it is. When you want to heal people, I'm not saying they will do backflips immediately or else you're a failure. Please don't go that far with it. But do this. Get used to retiring people from what you think you see. You're hot because I said so. You're diseased because I said so. The doctor, and you're joining, you're agreeing. Don't join with the prostitute at their level. Bring them up to ours. Don't join with sickly. Oh, I'm going to go into the hospital today and I'm going to go in that one ward. And oh, they're also. Do you understand that you're actually dropping to the level of their misery? Walk in and give them hope. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Well, I'm sickly. I know part of you is. And you're saying subconsciously most of the time, I refuse to believe that. Well, I've never had money in my family. Oh, yeah, that's a pattern. Once it's with your family, it's there forever. The sins of one generation will pass to the next. See, and you're in that belief system. I don't know. In words, I couldn't put it into a 60-second spiel, really, why I was that way, but I always felt that way. I was always, we went to a family picnic one time, and there were these guys, these kind of like living, homeless, and they're in the park, and but they looked a little hippie-ish, and my dad was not hippie lover. And these guys came up, and I'm telling you, excuse me, sir, would you mind if we each had some of the coffee you guys are making? He turns his head away from them. Get away from me. You're ugly. I can't stand looking at you. Your hair and and I'm not kidding. 20 minutes later, he's looking at me. Where were you? I wish I could have said, did you not know I would be about my Father's business? Where the hell do you think I was? Giving coffee to these two people that you shame. But I couldn't say that. I went to the bathroom, or whatever I came up with in my fearful child. But I refuse. I refuse. I'm sure there's days I would do something you wouldn't find agreeable. But generally speaking, don't buy into the little thing that other people put themselves into. One day, you will need someone to see you beyond what you think you are. We need each other's agreement. Where two or more are gathered means where two of us share the same belief, it will be. And we're all asking, can anyone join with me to say that I'm greater than what I think I am based on where I've been and what I've done? Science, politics, and religion, the unholy trinity, will keep people programmed, and it's not helpful. There's got to be another trinity that includes the word hope. See? Are you willing to change something? Yes. Then that's who you are now. See? Don't buy into this other stuff. Be the change. Be the hope. Give people, something like that. I'll close with this. One time I was an assistant in a school, elementary school and preschool age kids. And I think it was my first day there. And this little girl comes up sad victim, scraped her knee and she's crying, and the little innocent girl. And all the teachers, well, what happened? Well, whatever, Johnny pushed me down, and then they're all like, the teachers are like, Johnny, he's such a loser, jerk kid, I went over and sat with Johnny. Are you okay? Yeah. Are you okay? And this kid, yeah. Well, what happened? Well, I don't know. I pushed her down. How come? Well, I was upset, whatever. And then I pick him up and I'm holding, and he's crying. I swear. And I look over and the teachers are like, happened. Like something completely surreal took place. Bad kid versus nice kid that they're holding is crying, and something changed. Something changed. Like somebody asked him how he's doing. Are you okay? And for him to cry, you understand the vulnerability for a bully kid to let go is not easy. But when I created a safe enough space, which is only because God could tell me how to do that, create a safe enough space, then the kid was able to come out. You can help people get beyond homelessness, beyond poverty issues, beyond illnesses, beyond behaviors, addictions too, by not just hoping they're a little better, learning to know it, where we started many minutes ago. No, don't even just believe, although that's a good start. I believe in you. See, I believe in you is nice. I know it's going to be okay. Never look at a person in their deathbed with, I don't know. Chaplain from the Global Center for Christ Consciousness. Where am I going to go? What's going to happen? Wow. We don't know. Hold on. Not looking good for you, ma'am. Never do that. Never look at a troubled woman giving birth and talk about all the things that might be going wrong with the birth. Look at someone who's passing over, and this is what I have done, and I would do every experience. Do me a favor. I really admire you. When you get to the other side, put in a good word for me. Because usually if they know me, they like respect me, and Michael's really plugged in. I ask you to put in a good word for me. Do you understand what I'm doing? You're above me now. See? I'm counting on your help, which lifts you up. So using not exact words like that, just your way to see hope in people, to see goodness in people. Please take a few centering breaths. Setting aside all stuff of life, soaking in what you heard that made sense. What did you hear that feeds you? If anything I said that didn't make sense, or you don't agree with, just, okay, good, so what? Let it go. But anything you heard that made sense, breathe it in. Breathe it in. Breathe it in. Let it become your knowing, your ahas, your epiphanies. Let it become yours. Before you speak it, before you teach it to others, breathe it in. Let it become yours. Live it. Here, you're integrating it, but you still have got homework, and that is to take it forward. Teach only love, for that is what you are. If you show people that you judge them for something, you're actually confirming judgments they already have on themselves. And it hasn't helped anybody. And now you have fallen with them. You might think yourself superior because you're the one with the opinion of higher judgment over them, but no, you fell with them. Judgment was the great fall from heaven. And if we judge today, we're still falling. Help me, brothers and sisters throughout the world. Help me not to fall with you. Help me to rise in love. Father, Mother, God, I'm so sorry. All my ridiculous opinions, they were judgments of mine. People have been mirrors. They've been victims of my ignorant behavior. Let the light come to us today from the east in the form of the Divine Mother, to the Middle East birthing the Christ, to the west where we all come home. Where I have seen utter darkness or even annoyances, major or minor judgments, it's just never really served me. Show me how to see and experience all things as you would have me, and through your eyes. Imagine God calling all the angels to surround it. And God says to them, something amazing is happening. I can tell my children are raising their vibration right now on earth because they're asking to see as I see. There's absolutely nothing that raises our vibrations higher than becoming that higher vibration. And when that trips or slips or fails, just adding more forgiveness takes it up again. So the highest heaven is aware of our intention and our joining together. When someone shows you their beauty or ugliness, it's a temptation to say, do you see me as a limited being that's either your opinion of ugly or cute? When I have money, don't have money, and you have opinions about it, you're freezing me into that. Can anybody help me? Is anybody willing to see me differently? That's what all souls are saying. Today, let's say yes. Gentlemen, or people with a lower voice, you're welcome to join. Holy, 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 love on the last one. Holy, holy, holy. Good. Holy. A little louder. Holy, holy. Then holy, holy, love. Love. Again. Louder. You're holding space for the wounded cat that's afraid to come out. People of differing religions. Again. Louder. Hold space for women. Holy, holy love. Do it again, women. Love, 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 love. The gospel in one word is love. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Love, holy love. Everybody keep going. Love, 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 love. Gospel in one word is love. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Love, holy love. Keep going. Raise your hands. Right on. One more time. That's it. Ladies, feel the support of the men, no matter what the gender. Holy love. One more to the universe. Hands facing out. Send it. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Love, holy love. We are so blessed. And we are so grateful. The presence of the Lord is in this place. Feel it. This beautiful light pouring so abundantly, it washes away all that is unlike itself. And if you let it, it'll wash away beliefs in lack. Let it wash away mischievous entities. Let it wash away old neuron programs, biology, genealogy. Wash clean and become born again in God, in Christ. Something wonderful is happening in my life. I can see it and I can feel it. I just feel so radiant. My light is shining. I know it's possible that when I leave this place, this moment, this room, this experience, that the world will still be the world and try to push my buttons. It doesn't matter. I'm changing and I'm going to be committed. More and more light. And every day, this is how I'll start my day. Saying, here I am. Shine your presence through me to the world. For them and for me. Let us come home together now. And so it is. Thank you so much. Gradually stretch out. Maybe more loosely than usual, I talked about some of the things you asked about. Whether it's cellular intelligence, the global center's work, what ego is. So we're going to do our closing prayer. Let's please just do our sharing of donations. Please be as generous as you can be. You feeling good, Light? Yeah? Nice. Good. Be as generous as you can be. Your donations go in the bags that we pass around. Any extra donations can go in the wicker baskets. Those are like extra donations for people of lesser means or special projects. We're really grateful for those of you who gave extra donations for our obelisk. We had it done for a while now, but we're looking for the perfect capstone top, and we think we found that now, which I think is costing the same as everything else we did, but it's just too good, so we have to go with it. So those of you, a couple of you in particular, thank you for the donations for that. All of us benefit from that, so thank you. If anybody else wants to add any extra donations today, wicker baskets, that's what helps us go towards special projects like that, all right? Let's do our prosperity blessing, please. Together, divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Thank you. Can anyone share, what did you learn or hear today that made the most sense?
I need to take my mom out today onto the land and enjoy it.
You need to take what?
My mother on the land today and enjoy it.
Oh,
Everybody else on the land.
yeah. Take your mother out to the land and enjoy and soak it in. Nice. Anyone else? Yes?
You didn't speak directly to the true freedom, but what I really got was that true freedom is abiding in the knowing.
True freedom is, really just the knowing, the soaking in. And true freedom, remember we talked about addictions and all those things. Those would be the not true freedom. The true freedom is your connection to God. Make that your addiction, but that wouldn't be the accurate word for it anymore. Anyone else? Yes?
You reminded me of something that happened a number of years ago. An elderly head chaplain of a church was in the hospital on death's door, and our minister went to him to say goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
She took his hand and said, "I need a prayer." And he started praying to her, and this power started rising in him. And we saw him in church a week or two later.
Wow. Someone at death's bed and you saw a person, but they asked someone to pray with them. And that prayer actually brought them about, brought them back, healed. Yeah, absolutely. Anyone else? Yes.
Playing a different tune, not believing
Yeah.
in things of this world, but choosing to be a different example.
Yeah, play a different tune. It's, you're in this world, and the majority is going to look like you're outnumbered. Whether it's the majority of people on a board that are going one way and that you can tell, or in a band, or in your household, or guys, I mean, we all feel for you. We do. All of us know what it's like to be outnumbered, darkness against light. We understand that. And Jesus has tried, one of the things he's taught us is, even on the cross, being spit on and betrayed and denied and so on and so on, I'm still plugged in. This is the song I'm playing. We're playing the song of betrayal and throwing him under the bus, but you know what? He's like, I'm not buying it. And not only am I not buying it for me, even you. That's not the real you. So he's even forgiving those people. I'm not saying you can just jump to that. That's your destiny. It is your destiny to be able to see through the behaviors of others to the point of releasing them. But that doesn't mean you're putting on rose-colored glasses pretending to have forgiven them. When the stuff comes up and you feel wincing, feel it. When it makes you want to vomit, vomit. Process what's happening, be real with it. But then what? I want to conclude this process back in who I am. I cry for a minute, come back. Vomit, come back. Blame, come back. Shame, come back. Keep coming back and not buying into the process itself. Because the process happens in time. It's an illusion. And it isn't determining who you are. Please stand for our closing prayer. While you're standing, a few things to share with you. Judy's company, the estate sales she's looking for new workers. She'd like to pick up 3 or 4 new people. She pays them. I think it's $100 an hour, but don't tell her I said that. She is, it is paid, but specific skill sets or whatever. But if you're interested, talk to her. And we are starting Wednesday, this coming Wednesday. Wednesday, right? Yeah, Wednesday, 4 to 6. We're doing a group here, a circle, where we'll do like therapy, healing kinds of work together. So some of it will incorporate hands-on healing. I'll demonstrate. I'll work with people, whoever's in the room, whatever they need. Because some of you asked me to do mentoring work. I don't believe, so I know it's good. Do it if that's what you're called to do with teachers. I don't have the time, and I don't believe in charging thousands of dollars to somebody for me to mentor them. I would rather you just attend and listen and watch and absorb and become, rather than me charge you 10 grand to call it mentoring. Just pay attention, and it's free. You make donations, that's it. But I'll do this circle so that some of you that wanted mentoring can get a little closer to that level of work. And you'll read more about it in our bulletin, our weekly newsletter, okay? That's been a new idea, so that's happening if anybody's interested. We have chaplains that are available today after service, but every day of every week of every month. They do home care, like go and pray with people and so on, but also you can just call the office, I need a chaplain. Our lead chaplain, Jeff, and his closest assistants will help you connect with somebody that can pray with you or counsel or whatever. It's, like 15-minute kind of thing. It's not several hours, but they can help you in the time they have. There's a QR code now available. It's online, and it's also a little box you'll see on the counter in the bookstore. We'd appreciate any feedback, reviews you can give if you appreciate things that we do here. If you're interested, things that I've done, my books, my DVDs, those are in the bookstore. I usually forget to mention them, but they are in there. And you have my book on forgiveness, and somebody was bringing more Course in Miracles books. I didn't hear if they brought them. Hopefully they did. And we're on social media all over. We have YouTube and Facebook Live. I hope you guys choose to watch those. If you're out of town or not available firsthand, you can go there, okay? Lastly, Saturday, May 11th and Sunday, May 12th, join us for the Transformative Workshop, Healing and Mastery. So this is a workshop that I do once a year. So it's May 11th and 12th, 2 days. It'll be here in person and on Zoom if you're interested. But we cover advanced things. It's about mastery. So some of the more advanced forms of prayer, meditation, but it's not all lofty. It's how to focus, improve your mind, your emotions, your psychic self, your physical self, all parts of ourselves, living mastery. Call in the presence and live it on all levels of life. That's what that workshop's about. So I think I covered the announcements I was given to cover. So thank you guys. Now, before we do our closing prayer, just turn and smile, hug, or take the hand of someone next to you and say, peace be with you. Peace be with all of you. Good. Peace, peace, peace. Good. Remember, guys, now, remember, it's a blessing. It's not actually like a conversation piece. It's a blessing. When you say it, learn to say that with confidence. Even if you look light about peace be with you, inside your mind, you're thinking, the peace of God that is with me is channeling to you. You really have that intention and make a difference in people's lives through a blessing. Let's do our closing prayer. We're just soaking in that moment of gratitude for everything we heard and shared and experienced. The eyes, the smiles of each other. Thank you, thank you, thank you. May everyone on this planet begin to mirror not the nightmares of our issues, but begin to mirror the happy dream, our coming closer to God. Let people mirror more often healing and smiles and joining and cooperation and trust. That's the first major step. From there, total oneness with God. But first, here, a happy dream. Holy Spirit of God, we welcome that happy dream to a whole new level today, this week, this month, this year, and throughout our lives. And we, not just for ourselves, we wish it, will it, pray it, bless it upon all your children in all dimensions throughout all time. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we go, God is. I am. We are. And so it is. Peace be with you all. Thank you.